Meowdy howdy. This is not the greatest view, is it? And I should have figured out this cable before I started recording. We've got the same sketchbook we usually have. You're so low down. The camera is, that is. I'm still figuring out the setup because I'm recording at a different spot than usual. But in this sketchbook, first page, and then there was bleed through on this page, if you'll remember. So I put a bit of paper on there, on the back of the paper, and I put a bit of paper on the back of this paper, and on this paper, and I went through and did that on a few different pages, so I would be able to, so the paper's just a little bit thicker. I definitely have better quality sketchbooks by now, that I could be using instead of this one, but I'm using this one. I finally got this gouache paint that I've been wanting for ages. So that's exciting for me. I already peeled off all the things. This is how I chose to organise it in the case. Aren't they so lovely? Let's do some swatching first, I think. I also got the same thing in pink, but obviously I'll use up all the yellow, and then I'll move on to the pink. Do I actually need to swatch? My paint water jar is a little bit wobbly. Do I actually need to swatch the two white paints? Like, is that necessary? I was watching another person's video when they were using the gouache paints, these Himi Gouache ones, and they were saying that they didn't particularly like them because of the fact there's so much surface area and they dry out. And the texture of them is different to what they're used to and things like that. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to... I paint with gouache a lot lately, so I think I'm going to end up using these up pretty quickly. I don't know why I bothered doing those two swatches. You can tell there's slightly different shades of white, but with how you tend to use white, I don't think I'm going to really notice that. It'll be interesting to compare this video. Like, if I still have this, if I'm still using this yellow container of gouache in a year's time, it'll be interesting to compare what the quality is like of them now to then. I guess I can compare the quality in the first and the last video done using them. I don't know what length of time that will be, though. Another video I watched, because I was watching a few videos where people were using this Himi Gouache, they said to do bigger swatches more so. And the first person, they said about how the fact that they're in the cups like this, you're going to end up mixing a lot of the colours together, because maybe for a while you'll patiently get the wash the brush between colours, but eventually you'll get a little bit lazy or a little bit sloppy, or you know, and eventually all your colours will end up messy. And honestly, that's not something I really care about. Like, I don't really care if my colours end up messy. Like, I view all of my traditional art as practice art, so it's like, I don't really care if my supplies are a little bit messy after a while. And I think some of the how this is turning out is a little bit the fault of the paper, because this is just ordinary printer paper, and it just doesn't take paint that well. Like, even my other gouache doesn't go well on this type of paper. My other gouache is right here. And you can see that I don't keep it in the tubes, I've got it all in here, and definitely no effort was made to keep that tidy. My colours do be mixed, and I do not mind that in the slightest. But I will show you. I've got all my personal sketchbooks stacked up next to me. See, even on printer paper, my other gouache paint doesn't go incredibly awesome. So it's like, I'm not particularly fussed. Like, I'm fine with this. Like, I guess I could possibly agree that maybe no, actually, she was saying that she doesn't think it's a good option for, if you're new to gouache paint, she thinks this is more frustrating and it won't encourage people to try gouache more. But I think if it's your cheapest option, it's probably fine. But at the same time, there probably are cheap options that are in the tube like she seems to prefer. Like, my other gouache paint, it was a fairly cheap gouache, but I'm slowly getting better quality versions of each colour. Like, so far I just have a slightly nicer white and a slightly nicer bright pink. But at the same time, I consider all my traditional art to be practice art, so spending lots of money on art supplies isn't really what I'm about if I consider it all to be practice. You can see even as I'm doing the swatches, I'm getting colours mushed a little bit. I'm just doing these swatches in the same positions as they are in the palette because that makes sense. I was so tempted to just sit down and do some painting before recording, but I wanted my first use of these paints to be in video because I felt like that, made sense. And then I'll obviously do other videos with these gouache paints where I'm a little more practiced with them. Because once I'm done recording this, I'll probably shuffle this video onto my phone. Onto my laptop, so it's not taking up storage on my phone, and then sit here and do some painting. Because why not? I quite like this blue I just did. I kind of wish there was more than one purple, because I like using a lot of purple. So I would love if there was multiple shades of purple. Or maybe I'll look into other jelly cup type things of gouache that have more colours in it. Or I think there's also one that's got bigger cups. Maybe that would be worth looking at. Or, I don't know. I'll have to look into the different ones that are available to me. Because I was wanting these for ages, but I didn't know where I, in New Zealand, could get them. Eventually I ended up coming across them by accident on Trade Me while I was looking for a new strap for my Fitbit. And the same person that was selling the strap for my Fitbit was selling these. And it's like, yeah, I've been wanting to try those, so exciting. I think the only colour I'll be annoyed at getting other colours mushed into is the yellow, because yellow is my favourite colour. There we go, we now have all of the colours. Wow. I'm also still waiting on packages. Like this package with these two paints arrived and the strap, but I've got 3 other packages I'm waiting for. This is the strap I got. It's a nylon type thing, and it's like, it's one strap that's, yeah. As opposed to the one that came with the Fitbit, that's 2 different pieces that clips in on either side. So I think I actually like the strap a lot better because I feel like it fits better. and it obviously is hopefully not going to cause me a disgusting rash like the silicone one did. Let's stamp the date on here. Is this dry? I love these little stamps that I've got. I'd love to get another set of them because sometimes I paint sitting. Sometimes I do art sitting at my desk, and sometimes I do art sitting at my sitting on my bed. And usually I have a certain amount of art supplies that I just have to carry between bed and desk. And I would love to just get another another set of these stamps so I can have one set sitting on my desk and one set sitting in my bed. At the moment, my bed art supplies are, I have 2 pencil cases, so one of my pencil cases stays there, and the other pencil case stays at my desk, and then my giant thing of markers usually stays sitting in my bed. Because why not? Also because that's the best place to use them, according to how much space I have. But I probably will bring those markers in here so I can record a few videos while I'm in here recording videos. It is the 14th of August. I'm hoping to get some backlog built up. Woohoo. Right. What do I want to draw today is another question. I didn't actually think about that entirely before I started recording. I was just really excited to get to use these gouache paints. And the container is like surprisingly heavy too. I did not expect that. This is my little pencil case that usually sits at my desk. This is my favourite pencil. This is just full of pens and highlighters. Because I don't tend to need my colouring pencils at my desk. I've got a different set of colouring pencils at my desk. I'm waiting for a new pencil case that I'm going to put I've got a tin that has pencils in it, and I'm going to put those in there. I'm thinking I might also do a video where I print out line art twice, and on one line art I'll use these Himi Gouache paints, and on the other line art I'll use my regular gouache paints. So we can have a little bit more of a direct comparison. I should have drawn this a little bit bigger, actually. Just drawn a giant face to practice, to see what doing skin tones is like. I'm going to have to mix a skin tone. But, that colour there will be alright, because I'm drawing Gavin, and that is pretty close to her hair colour. I'm looking forward to when I get this sketchbook filled up, and then maybe the next sketchbook I use for videos will be a better quality one. I've got an empty sketchbook that I really like sitting at home that I haven't started yet, and I could probably use that one next. I think I actually have 2 sketchbooks like this one I'm currently using, because I bought the second one because I'm a little bit goofy like that, apparently. Ugh. I should have brought an eraser in with me, actually. Do I have an eraser in this pencil case that's with me? I don't know. I do! That's surprising. I know I bought a bunch of erasers a while ago, but I don't know where I put them all. But apparently one ended up in this pencil case. Bloop. Gavin wears a lot of purple. I tend to draw her with a lot of pinks and purples because her hair is pink, and then she wears pink quite often, and she also wears a lot of purple. Fingernails, fingernails, fingernails. Here. Ugh, there's a cat eating biscuits and I can't tell which it is because I can't lean too far away to look through the door. But I'm guessing it's Bunny because I think Reaper's actually outside. He caught a lizard earlier. I took the lizard off him, but I think the lizard was a little bit too far along the rainbow bridge. So I'm assuming that lizard will not be surviving even though I took it from him. Right, let's do a skin colour. These are paintbrushes I have not used before. Fresh new paintbrushes. Fun. I'm going to use this white. Oh, you can't even see this. I kind of probably should have grabbed a thinner paintbrush and a water cup that isn't slightly like that. I like to put a little bit of orange in my skin tones. Let's see how this goes. A little bit too pink. I have a couple of thinner paintbrushes that are slightly better quality. I should have really brought those inside with me too. Oh, it was Bunny. This is still not quite the colour I'm looking for. I definitely need a lot more practice when it comes to mixing skin tones. This is more of a golden yellow, isn't it? Hello, Bun Bun. Bunny's just walked into the room. I'm sure she's just a little bit confused at the fact I've dragged this table into this room and have all my art supplies all over it, and the way I'm sitting means she cannot jump up onto my lap. How tragic, how sad. She's gonna go jump into the wood basket instead. My grandparents usually have the heater and the fire going all the time. The fire is still going. I'm waiting for it to go out. But, I overheat really easily. So they are going to come home to an ice-cold house and be very disappointed because if I keep this house at the temperature that they like, I will melt and die. I think I need to add a little bit more white to this. And definitely use a thinner paintbrush. I usually do, but my usual paintbrushes are at home in my at-home paint jar. Because I didn't want to have to carry a paint jar back and forth if I decided I wanted to do some painting at home while leaving all this paint stuff here. Basically now, instead of having my art supplies divided between 2 places, bed and desk, I have my art supplies divided between 3 places. Bed, desk, and in my grandparents' living room. How fun. Gavin is a surprisingly pale character, I think. Maybe Gavin and Andy and Jay all need redesigns, because I'm redesigning Jay, But honestly, I've had all three characters for a while, and Jay has been redesigned several times, but maybe it's Andy and Gavin's turns to be redesigned, because I think I typically draw Gavin as quite pale. Like, maybe pink hair is kind of their world equivalent of being a redhead. Maybe they just lack pigment, but that's not very interesting, is it? I think Gavin as a character, if pink hair is not their world equivalent of red hair, I think she would be outside a lot and end up quite tanned. So that would probably suit her character just a bit more. Meanwhile, Andy spends a lot of time underground, so it would make sense for her to be pale. And Jay, I think she's a little more moderate. Like, she will go outside and sit in the sun, but she's also not spending her time underground by any stretch of the imagination. I am liking these so far, I think. Like, I don't have any complaints. Blop, 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 blop. I do have complaints about this paintbrush, however. The way the colours mix on there and the way they sit there does a little bit remind me more of watercolour than gouache paint, which is interesting, I guess. I don't know. I'm also going to be doing some videos with watercolour paint, because I do have my watercolour paint just next to me. We're adding a little bit of this. I have so many videos I plan on recording, and I'm very excited to do all of them. And then I've got however much, I've got at least a week after that to edit all of them. So woohoo for me. Do I want to paint in the background of this, or do I want to just leave it white? This pink kind of suits Gavin, I think. I'm just putting a little bit there on the palette in case I want to mix it a little bit. No doubt, since her hair is right next to her skin, I'm going to accidentally mush it into her skin tone a little bit. I should have bought those thin brushes in with me for sure, is what I'm thinking now. I'm probably going to have to layer this gouache a little bit based just on how it looks right now. I've actually been doing a lot of paintings of Gavin, so I can also show you a comparison of how this looks to one of my other paintings of Gavin that I've done with gouache paint. But I am thinking I should really redesign Gavin and Andy along with Jay now. I think it makes sense. And also, as usual, you should definitely comment and let me know what you've been working on art-wise, or you can just tell me about anything. I am happy to read it. But if you're also drawing or painting while watching this video, I would love to hear about that. Or you can always tag me on social media. I would love to see. You know, you get to see my art, I would love to look at your art too. Definitely going to find this container very annoying, the way it's wobbly. Right, so let me get a little bit of this red, mix it into this pink a little bit. Not that you can see what I'm doing. Toot toot. I leaned too far away because I was trying to look under the table to see if Bunny was there. Oh, Bunny's over on her perch, sitting and judging me because she thinks I am talking to myself, which I kind of am. We'll just go boring and give her her purple dress. For this purple feels a little bluish, I think. Like it's not the most purpley purple, if that makes sense. But I do like that the thing, it's got this piece of plastic for a palette. Like, I like that. But I don't think it's I'm not the biggest fan of it. Like the other palette that I have, it's like tin or metal, and I like that a lot better for mixing colours on. As you can see, mine is thoroughly a mess. But then I do also have, I had the paintbrush in my mouth, sorry. I have this as my watercolour thing, and so the way the gouache looks mixed on that yellow thing reminds me of the way it looks, of the way the watercolour looks when it's on this. I really like this watercolour palette. I wanted that for ages, and then I finally bought it. Maybe one day I'll buy some really fancy gouache paints or fancy watercolours too. I don't know. If you would like to see me buy some really fancy art supplies, subscribe to the channel and help me get to the point where I can monetize it. Because at the moment it cannot be monetized because you need a certain amount of subscribers and a certain amount of watch time per within a length of time, and I have neither of those things at the moment, especially since I'm not even posting any videos at the time I am recording this. Currently, I like these so far. I'll probably keep using, I'll definitely keep using them, because I use a lot of gouache paint. This paintbrush is just soft in a way that makes it kind of annoying. Maybe as it gets gross and old, it'll be better to use. Because my other paintbrushes that I usually use are all gross and old. I also see a lot of people, when they have these paints, they have a little water spray bottle and they spray and mist it down a lot. So maybe I need to mist this thing down after each use. But then I think I'm probably gonna use this consistently every day, so I don't know that I'm gonna need to do that. Like, when people are misting it down after using it, are they doing that because it'll be a while before they next use it, or are they using it daily? Or how often do people typically use this palette when they have it? I mean, use this set of paints when they have it. Like, what are other people's uses with it? Because I imagine I'm going to use this pretty often. Like, with my watercolors, not my watercolors, with my other gouache palette that I already had, it's usually sitting on my desk and I use that a lot. Like, if I'm sitting at my desk playing Minecraft, sometimes I will stop and just watch YouTube for a bit and leave Minecraft open, but be right next to my computer painting with gouache. So my gouache is often just on my desk, open. And I assume I will end up doing the same with this. Because why wouldn't I? I don't think I want to bother painting the entire background, because I would like to be a little bit lazy. Pink. I'm curious about how long these paints will last me. I'm thinking once I've used all the paints, what are you meant to do with all the plastic little cups in the container they come in? I guess I could put other gouache paint in there, but Also, I already have that tin palette that you've seen. The paint is wet. But I like it so far. The paint, that is. Do I want to paint the background? I guess I could paint the background just so it gives me some time for the paint to dry. What colour do I want it to be? I'm kind of inclined towards a pastel green. Scoop. You can't even see the giant scoop I just did. Scoopy, scoopy, scoop, scoop. I should have scooped the white paint first. That would have been smarter. My white paint now has a little bit of green in it. Oh, this reminds me of toothpaste. This is not the minty pastel green I was aiming for, but it is the green that I have, and I will live with it. I do see what that first person, the video of theirs I watched, was talking about when they said that they felt like it didn't spread as easily as the higher quality gouache. So I guess you end up using more of this just to get kind of the even coverage. But again, I don't really have any issues with that. I wonder if Doodle Date did any videos with this. Do they have Himi Gouache paint? I should look that up. I do not have either of my tablets with me at the moment, so I can't look it up right now. I guess I could technically turn my laptop on, but I do not want to. If you happen to like watching my videos where I show me drawing things, I definitely recommend Doodle Date if you have not already heard of them. I really like their channel. They've been posting a few vlogs recently. But yes, I definitely recommend. They've got a lot of videos on their channel, so they've got a bit of a backlog, so if you haven't heard of them, plenty of videos for you to go back and watch. I've been watching a few of their videos lately, like ones that I've already seen, but rewatching older ones, and I really like them, but I do not remember if they have ever done any videos with Himi Gouache, because I don't remember if they own it or not. Because they're not one of those art YouTubers that buy a lot of art supplies. Which I think is a good thing, because I think a lot of art YouTubers end up with all these art supplies, and they don't even use a lot of them. Like, maybe they try them once on camera, but they don't actually get a lot of use out of all the art supplies they buy. I like to hope that I use most of my art supplies, but it definitely varies. Like, at the moment, I use my my gouache paint I already had a lot, and I use my I've been using my markers again a lot, but also I've got a lot of coloured pencils that I don't really use a lot, and I should use them more often. And I've got lots of watercolour pencils that I used to use a lot, and now I don't really use them a whole lot. So maybe in the next few days I will do a bunch of different videos using a variety of supplies, just to, you know, add some more variety and finally make more use of things. Also, there's a sale at Spotlight, and I was thinking I should browse and look at things, but also I don't really need to buy more art supplies. It's the tragic woes of an artist, is you kind of just always want more art supplies, but you You only have so much time, and obviously you should just use art supplies you have rather than always getting more art supplies. I think this looks alright. I think this colour I ended up with for the background is actually pretty alright. I am noticing I'm going over the washi tape around the edges, by the way. I'm not too fussed about it being tidy. Like, nope, sorry, do not care. I usually use this for lining, but I did not bring my tiny paintbrush to be able to do a good line, so I don't think I will do that for this one. I am also weirdly tired when it's so early in the day. Like, too early in the day to be tired. Yep. I think I will pause and let this dry, and then we will be back for me to do some lining. Yari McCowder. Next clip. Paint is dry. I went and retrieved my smaller paintbrushes, and then I also remembered I had these pens. It's the Win. So I thought I'd see how well that goes over the gouache. But you can see the paint has dried. It goes over it fine there. But I find usually these pens don't go over amazing on the gouache. So it's usually easier just to use the ink in that little thing I showed before. See? Yeah, easier just to use the ink. For it's fine for the freckles, I think. Just added a little line to the date. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Right, let's use the ink for the rest of the lines. Let's actually start at the top of the page. We'll use this one. Not that you can really tell that the page was painted white in that corner. I actually need to get more of this ink, because I am running a little bit low. Especially since I've been using gouache paint a lot more recently. I'm really looking forward to when I finish my other sketchbooks, because I love doing sketchbook tours, and it's just so satisfying to have a filled up sketchbook. I'm thinking of offering a different type of commission, but I still need to figure out the logistics and the pricings of it. But I'm thinking it would be fun to offer, like, so these sketchbooks, I really like them. It would be fun to offer to fill up an entire sketchbook and then send it. So you could pick which color sketchbook of this, and then you pick your characters. It could be one character or any amount of characters, and then I fill the entire sketchbook up with art of them. And you can, make a few specific choices, but I need to figure out how long it would take me to fill a sketchbook. And then obviously, what art supplies would I end up needing to replace throughout filling one sketchbook? And obviously anyone wanting that would need to give me all the information about their characters in order for me to draw a whole lot of art of them. And it would probably also just be a really expensive commission, so I don't know if anyone would actually want that, because it would be really expensive, as I just said. But I think it's a fun idea, and it would probably take a while, So you'd have to pay up front and then probably be waiting at least a month, and then there's however long the shipping takes. Obviously have to have the price of shipping just factored into the commission price rather than having to figure it out later. But I thought that would be a fun idea. Who knows if I'll actually end up doing that. And then who knows if anyone would actually buy that. Like, does anyone actually want an entire sketchbook of their characters by me? Who knows? Just switching to the thinner paintbrush now for the smaller details. I'd love to get more colours of this ink and then use ink a little more often. I'm kind of sad about what happened with Inktober. Like, in theory, I think Inktober is a really fun event. It's a little soured to me because of what happened with the creator of Inktober. But then, of course, there's nothing that's stopping me from doing other ink-related events. I've got a sketchbook at home that I only use ink in, and I haven't actually used that sketchbook in a while. Maybe that will be one of the videos I make. I definitely like how this looks better with the line art now that I've started to do the line art. I think that really brings the piece together a lot. You might be able to hear the washing machine in the background. I still need to have a shower today also. I am one stinky lad. Another of my packages arrived, but while I was waiting for this paint to dry, so now I have a new bag, and I like it. It's a canvas bag, and I'm gonna use it for when I go places. I'm gonna put art supplies in it, so when I go places, and if we're somewhere and I'm bored, I can take a sketchbook out and do some drawing. Related to that commission idea I had, I've got this little pink sketchbook still, so I might record filling this up, see how long it takes, see how much goes into it, you know. Figure out how many hours it takes, use that to figure out what kind of pricing it would be. But again, if I did offer that, it would be like really expensive. Because I have to account for the fact that I'm putting a lot of time into it, and the fact that I'm using up probably a lot of art supplies. And of course, the price of shipping. Because shipping from New Zealand is nasty. I'd probably need them to add me on Discord too, so we can talk about what kind of art they want in it. You know, you can be specific about artwork, about pictures, or just say go hog wild. Obviously, going hog wild is my preference. But maybe there's specific scenarios you'd like to see. I'm probably going to have it like time-lapse, filling up that sketchbook rather than sitting and chatting my way through every single drawing, because that would take a while. I like how this page has turned out. I actually like that the whole page is filled up, because it bugs me when I do a page in a sketchbook and the page feels empty, like any part of it feels empty. Like, there's definitely pages in this sketchbook that I'm probably going to go back and add to, just because they feel a little bit empty and I don't like that. If I've got a sketchbook and I bought the sketchbook, I like to use the entire page and fill it up as much as I possibly can, just because it feels like the sketchbook has been more used that way and being used to as much as it can be used. There. I really like how this page has turned out. Do I want to add Gavin's name next to her? I'm surprised none of my cats are at the window. Now that I'm at the end of the video, I could probably take you over and show you Bunny too. I got these stamps that I use from Hedgehog Journals, and I don't think they actually have them in stock. But otherwise, I would probably consider buying more of them. Gavin, my beloved, who I'm probably gonna redesign. It probably won't be too much change to her, just, subtle things to give her a more specific look, I think. At the moment, I feel like a lot of the time I can start a drawing and then very far into it I can go, you know what, this is actually Cario. Like, there's just, without colours, there's a lot in common between Cario and Gavin. I don't remember which one. I think I've had Cario as a character a lot longer than Gavin, though. There we go. One whole page complete. I am very happy. And now I can take you over to show you Bunny in her snoozing spot. You can see where you were all sitting on this very cluttered table. You can see the entire piece of it that we have finished today. I guess that's a decent example of how the page is not filled up. Bun Bun on her tree. Hello, Bun Bun baby. Do you have any comments for us today, Bun Bun baby? Your comments today are nothing. She's so baby-sized. I don't know where Reaper is. I'm surprised he hasn't come in to yell for dinner. Not at this door. Sorry, the camera angles are being a little bit weird. I'm just being careful not to show anything that's got our address on it, because we have a weird amount of boxes with the address. Not seeing Reaper out anywhere. He's probably under the house or next door trying to catch a lizard. But I will see you in the next video. I will hopefully get a lot done in the next few days, because I have so many ideas of things I would like to do. Ta-ta!